What is up, guys? It is Tony here, and I'm waving at you so you know Tony is here. But today we are doing a montage editing tutorial, but not really. We're doing a Final Cut Pro editing tutorial because nowadays I don't edit montages anymore. I edit actual professional editing and footage and whatever you want to call it. So today we're going to be doing something. We're going to be revisiting a video I did in the past, which is green screen chroma key keying, which I actually did on a Call of Duty montage editing tutorial, but it wasn't very specific to editing real recorded footage with a camera. Now, we got some footage here. This is recorded with a 5D Mark III, which means that it has a very good resolution and compression for doing green screening. So if you have any camera that's a little bit less pricey or is more of a pocket HD camera, you may have a little bit more difficulty than I have here, which is why I'm going to try to give you guys the best explanation on how to get your green screen perfectly fitted around your subject. So we're going to go ahead and first off go into the effects tab. If you guys don't know where the keying thing is, you just go into your effects and just type in key, and you'll find the keyer. And you just put this keyer on here, and boom, right away you can see there's black in the background, which means that it keyed out the green, which looks like we're done already. I mean, this looks almost perfect. But you'll find that if you go into generators and give yourself a background, which is a good way to get a background, by the way, go into generators, and then you could bring this color palette out, and you can do a white background, for example. You'll notice that if we zoom in here a bit, we're just going to zoom in, you can see there's a lot of these black edges, kind of like a cartoon in a way, that outline myself, which is basically because we didn't key it properly. So I'm going to show you guys how to get rid of those properly by using the keyer effect. So the keyer effect, fortunately, has a lot of cool tools in here. You have the strength of it, which basically means you could reduce the amount of keying almost to zero, which means that you have basically the green screen back, which you can see as you increase the strength, the more those black lines disappear, but you can't really go above, you could go above 150 or 100%. That's not the way you're going to do it. You can also see, generally what it's keying out. You can also see the original, and you can go back to the composite. You can also fill holes, which actually helps a little bit, so we'll get to how to use that in a moment. Edge distance, of course, which doesn't do anything because we have to set edges, as you can see right here. And spill level, which you'll basically see is changing the color because it's allowing the green to spill in to your subject that's keyed. You can also invert it, which is kind of useless for me, at least in most of my applications. You also have the color selection, which means that you could switch to blue, chroma key, orange. So if you have an orange screen for some strange reason, you could do that. Or if you have a weirdly colored green, you could change that. So really, you can use any color in the world to key it out, as long as it doesn't match skin tones or any sort of object colors. For example, if I used an orange or a reddish orange screen, I would have myself keyed out slightly. So you really don't want to go for flesh-colored tones. Spill contrast, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff is really useful if you're trying to get perfect green screening. But I'm just going to show you what I do to get a basic draw-up going. So basically, you go to the Edge tool, and you drag the edge across where you want this to be. Now, once you have that edge set, you can actually change the edge distance from here with that edge. You can also move it around this bar here, which is what we're going to be doing. And you can see completely, you can make yourself look like a ghost if you want. But what we're going to do here is we're just going to move it a little bit, just a little bit. And that's not even a good edge. So when you're trying to place your edges, you want to really get in there. So you may have to zoom in a lot. I think that's badly placed again. It takes a little bit of practice to get this right because, honestly, Final Cut and Apple didn't really do a good job designing this, in my opinion. But if you get the hang of it, you get the hang of it. So I'm going to try to get this right. Okay. That's pretty good. Even though it's not doing anything because it's not large enough. Okay, I'm going to keep trying. Let me see if I could drag this out a little bit. Okay. So now you can see if you bring this edge in a little bit, you can actually change that line a little bit. So as you can see, what I did there is I changed the line. See, here it's completely thick. I brought it in, and now what you're going to notice when I go to fit is that my shirt is a weird color, and all you do to fix that is fill holes. So you see now the holes are filled. If you go too far, you start to get this weird gray outline. But basically, when your shirt turns a different color or whatever, your hair, you just fill in the holes, and then you can see if we close this and deselect it, you can see those black thick lines are mostly gone. Whoops. And now you have pretty much workable footage. That's all you have to do. Just add an edge in there, as I showed you. And then you just drag that line until the black edges are out. And then your shirt or whatever is brown or dark in your image is going to turn white. So all you do from there is you go into your keyer and you fill the holes. Now another problem that you might run into, let's say we delete this all together and redo this. Another problem you might run into is sometimes it'll start spilling into your image a little bit, especially in shadows and things like that. Now in this clip right here, I don't really think it shows it too much, but you kind of see it on my shirt here. If I play this, you can see that it's like sparkling. There's like these weird dots showing up there. The way you fix that, once again, is with the fill holes. So you fill holes a little bit, and boom, you can see this looks much better now. So hopefully that'll help you guys overall with green screens in general. As far as camera settings, make sure your camera is set at about 24p or 24 frames per second. Make sure that you are at 1080p. Make sure you're using RAW or the lowest or the least compression possible in your camera. In the case of Canon cameras, all eye compression is the best compression you can use for doing green screen and things like that. You know, really when it comes down to it, look up a guide for your camera. If your camera is a bigger name, you may be able to find a guide that'll help you a lot. So hopefully this helps out. Hopefully you guys learned something from this. If you guys have any ideas for other editing tutorials, short film tutorials I could do in the future, go ahead and leave them below, because I don't have a lot of ideas to go off of right now. But that is pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it once again, and I'll see you guys next time.